Hi students, today we are going to study chapter number 3 of SS. The name of the chapter is Ancient Towns and Scripture. This chapter talks about the earliest city. Now around 150 years ago, most of the remains of the Harappan civilization were extracted by Britishers. So all the remains that were there were more or less destroyed. Still, by around 80 years back, there were excavation activities that started, and we started to discover about the ancient civilization that existed, which was the Harappan civilization. Now, what was the kind of civilization that existed? The kind of houses, the kind of drainage system, the street patterns that we try to understand in this chapter. So, first, move with the city structure. So the city was basically divided into two segments. The western part was the smaller part, and you had the eastern part, which was bigger. This western part was much bigger. So much height was there for the western part as compared to eastern part, which was basically lower, and therefore the eastern part was known as lower town. However, the western section of the civilization, which was higher and smaller, was known as citadel. So that was the basic layout. Now, how was the layout built? So most of the layout here was through the brick wall that was around the city, and the interesting pattern was the arrangement of the bricks was not as the present day society. There was interlocking of the bricks that were there. So that means if you have one brick that lies in a vertical position, the other would lie in a horizontal position, and then vertical and then horizontal. So that would be the kind of arrangement of the bricks that was present, and it formed an interlocking pattern which was unique to Harappan civilization at that time. Now, Harappa and Mohenjo-daro were the two major regions for the development or based on which we can study how the previous civilizations flourished in area. Now, Mohenjo-daro is known for its Great Bath. Now, this Great Bath was lined with bricks all over the boundaries, and it was coated with plaster, and therefore it could hold water, and it was a kind of watertight compartment that was built, and there was no leakage or seepage of water from that Great Bath. Again, the Great Bath was surrounded by rooms on all the sides, and on the two sides you had the steps to reach to the Great Bath. So, Great Bath was a unique characteristics of Mohenjo-daro. Now, again, you had remains of Kalibangan in Rajasthan and Lothal in Gujarat, where you have fire altars that was seen, and Mohenjo-daro, Harappa and Lothal are known for their storehouses. So if they used to keep the stores of grains in the form of wheat and barley in the storehouses, so they have the unique storehouses. Now moving on to the structure of the houses, drainage and the streets. So most of the houses were one or two storied houses, so either there was one floor or two floors. So one storied or two storied houses that were present. Most of the houses were built around the courtyard. Every house had its own bathing area, and you had wells that supplied water to each and every house. All the drains that were present were covered, and in between the drains you had inspection holes, and these inspection holes could be opened in order to clean the drain. Again, you had the smaller drains that connected to the bigger drains. So there was a kind of well maintained drainage system for the waste that was there. And since this region was not very rich, or I would say not a region of abundant rainfall, what was important was water storage. So most of the water was stored in the wells at that time. So you had numerous wells that were present in that time. Now, how was the life in the city? So people, the rulers of the region, were mainly engaged in construction activities so that they wanted the region to have a kind of good construction. For ornamental purposes, they used gold, silver, and beads, which were considered as precious stones and mainly imported from different parts of India and abroad. Then you had scripts. Scripts were the people who wrote and prepared the seals. So they were writing on the seals, and then you had people who were person. They were creating toys and for children, and mainly the toys were made up of terracotta. Again, you have seals that were formed, and these seals are considered as the earliest forms of writing that was present in the Harappa. But till date, Harappan writing cannot be deciphered or cannot be read. So we are unable to decipher what the people at that time tried to wrote on the seals. So you have the seals, but we have not still deciphered it. Now, what was the crafts mainly made of? So there were weighing tools, and weights were mainly of the stone, and that stone was mainly the chert stone. Then you had small beads that were formed for ornamental purposes, for creating necklaces and decoration. So these beads were made of carnelian, and that was a kind of red stone. From each and every bead, you had a wire that used to pass on, and there was creation of jewelries and ornamental designs by these beads. The copper and bronze was mainly used for weapons, tools, ornaments, and vessels. Then you also had the ruler who was in the region tried to use ornaments and vessels of gold and silver. There were seals of stones that were used which were rectangular, and you usually had carvings of animals which was done on the seal. Now again they use the seals for packing. So you had, let's say, envelope, and that envelope you marked up with the seals. So the seals that they created, they just stamped those seals on the envelope so that it proves that this package could not be broken off, and these seals were unique again to the Harappan civilization at that time. Cotton was grown in Medgar, and this cotton was used for creating clothes. Then you had the cotton rolls which you used to have the spindles. We call those as spindle whorls, and these spindle whorls along which the thread was tied were made of terracotta or faniac. Now this faniac is an artificial substance which is made from gum and sand. It is available in various colors, and this is used for making beads, bangles, earrings, etc. Again, they are used as whorls around which you have the thread that is woven. There were specialist people, some were specialists in cutting the stones, the other was specialist in polishing the beads and carving the seals. So these were various roles of the people. Now, where did they obtain the raw material from? Most of the raw material they tried to obtain was in the form of precious stone that came from Gujarat. So, Lothal and Dholavira were the two main centers in Gujarat. Besides Gujarat, they tried to bring in precious stones from Iran and Afghanistan. Gold was brought from Karnataka. Tin, which was used to mix with copper to make the bronze, was mainly brought them from Afghanistan and Iran. You had copper that was obtained from Rajasthan and Oman. So there was a kind of good time or relationship with the neighboring states and the neighboring countries at that time. And finally, there was a kind of settled agriculture that was seen where farmers was growing wheat, barley and other crops for subsistence. So they were using the crops that they were growing there, and again there were a group of workers who used to work as herders. So they were rearing the cattle, sheep and the animals. Again, most of the settlements of the Harappa civilization at that time were around the areas of water supply or around the pastures. So these were the two basic centers around which most of the houses and the settlements were built. Now, as we said, Gujarat was again a major center for Harappa civilization. So these were two important centers. One was Dholavira and other was Lothal. Dholavira lies in the Khadiar belt in the run of Kutch. It had a kind of fresh water and fertile soil. So each part you had the stone walls at the entrance of the massive stone walls were present throughout the area. There was a large common area which was used for public ceremonies at that time, and you had large letters which were encrypted or engraved in the form of Harappan scripts which has still not deciphered. Then you have Lothal. Lothal lies near to the Sabarmati river in Gujarat and it's mainly in the region of Gulf of Khambat. It's known for the semi-precious stones it has. And Lothal is again famous for the dockyards. So you had one of the famous dockyard that was present in Lothal. Most of the houses were built of stone. Now, what was the reason that Harappan civilization declined or vanished off? As of now, we do not have a strong proof on any of the facts which could tell what actually had to the decline of the civilization. Some of the guesses that we do is that either the rivers in that area dried up, so there was no water and the civilization vanished off. That was one of the reasons. The second reason attributed is since there was the pastures and the herders living in limited area, so all the grasslands were gone, so there was deforestation and ultimately there was loss of civilization that occurred. The third aspect is about that there was excessive flood that came in the Satluj and you had all the riverine areas which were there got devastated because of the floods that came in. Some of the people talked about that the rulers who were there lost the control and finally the civilization vanished off. And finally, there is again a concept which says that the people from this region moved on to new settlements. So that are some of the reasons which say why the Harappa civilization declined. Now, similar to the Harappa civilization, there was Nile Valley civilization which flourished in Egypt. Now, a specific characteristic of this Nile Valley civilization was the pyramids or the structure of pyramids. In the pyramids, they used to preserve the dead bodies as mummies, and these dead bodies were preserved by some substance because of which they till date are existing. And finally, these mummies were again buried along with the lots of things in the form of food, ornaments, and all the things a person requires for a day-to-day life. So this is considered as one of the most elaborate burial practices in the world in the case of Egypt or the Nile Valley civilization. So with this, we cover all the chapter. We will be talking about more chapters in the upcoming sessions. So now, if you have any query regarding this chapter, do one thing that note down the queries in your notebook and be ready in our interactive session very soon. Till then, take care. Bye bye.